So today, I come to you in a different capacity because I'm with Jacomi himself.
Yeah.
And I'll let him introduce himself and let him tell us his story from where he started to where he is right now. It's none other than DJ Vol, and I have my guest, Mr.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman or Jacom.
Jacom.
The
Oh,
OG
yeah.
chairman, the original.
Yeah.
Actually, he's the one who pulled me out of the house, and he's really inspired me a lot. And I've gained some motivation from him, and I think it's time he should share his story to motivate some of you as well. Yeah, so Mr. Muchiri,
Yes.
welcome to Nairobi.
Asante sana.
How has it been so far?
I've been in Nairobi here for the last 4 days. This is the 5th day. And the days here seem to be going faster than I thought.
Yeah, Nairobi inaendaga mbio. Unasikiaga?
The fast pace.
Fast paced.
Yeah.
Hiyo ina counted on time.
So I've had such a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Not only in Nairobi but in your house as well. We've been met with a lot of warmth and a lot of accommodation.
Yeah.
So mimi siwezi complain. Nairobi has been good so far.
Thank you. I thank you so much for honoring the invite.
Yeah.
Let's do more things together.
Of course.
Starting with this one. So please tell the guys who don't know who Brian Muchiri is.
Yeah.
Please tell us, bring us from just give us a brief history of your childhood and your transition to adulthood up until this point. So we can start from where it all started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am the firstborn of 3 boys. My younger brother is 4 years younger, and the other brother is 17 years younger. I was born and grew up in the village, Nakuru, a small village called Mangu. So that is all I know. That has been home.
So this is information that was passed down to you.
Yeah, this is information that was by the ancient. By the elders. Yeah. So that has typically been my life, and I've never known anything else. So now that I'm growing up is when I'm starting to venture out and to see different things. But even in school, when I went to primary school, I still went to Nyahururu, which is still very rural. And from my high school, I went to Othaya, again, very rural place. So that has been me. We grew up in a very communal place because I grew up in the same homestead you've visited home. So you know how we grew up with a lot of cousins around and a lot of love and a lot of laughter. We had my grandfather used to own buses in the past. Zilikuwa zinaitwa economy transport. So when we grew up, there was an old bus that was near the gate, and that is where most of us got like an interest for driving, because it was crepe. So you could go into the bus and just play with the wheel and act like you are driving. So that is one of the fondest part of my childhood.
That is really good to hear. So during that time, was this before your high school, after high school, or during childhood? Or was it during that transition where you felt like you could be a driver at some point?
It's always been something that has interested me. Though we had like an old bus in our household, we didn't have a car. So tulikuwa tu tunaona gari za neighbors. But there is a Kikuyu proverb that says, if a house that has sheep poop will once again have sheep. So like sheep poop can be here and can stay here for like years and years. So I don't know if the translation makes sense, but that is how the proverb goes. Direct translation. So we didn't have a car. So when my uncle bought his car, that is when now I started driving. I started driving. I wasn't taught how to drive. I was just very interested in it. I could look at what people are doing and just replicate that.
That's exactly how I did it myself.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So Brian, basically, the bus gave you your inspiration to drive and all that. You learned yourself, just like I did. So how was your transition into adulthood, if you can, from your school days to adulthood? How was your early adulthood? What were your dreams? What did you want to do so much in life? And how was that transition?
I remember when I started, I don't know if it was the same in your household, but for many households here in Kenya, in yesteryears, when you are done with high school, the transition between high school and university, you have to go for driving and computer lessons. I remember when I went for computer lessons, I had started now discovering who I was as a person. And I got a tattoo to signify freedom.
A tattoo?
Yeah, because that is all that I ever wanted. Growing up in a rural area and in a rather conservative family, I wanted to be free and I wanted to try new things and to see new places and meet new people, people that were different from me. I have always wanted that. I've always wanted to exist in places where I see people of various mindsets and personalities. So I wanted freedom first, and at some point I was really interested in joining the army. That was something that I really wanted to do. People would tell me that my stance, unajua stance, the way I could stand, it was authoritative, and but still, it was still something that was really appealing to me, joining the army. I don't know where it came from, but that was something that I always wanted to do. And another passion for me has always been art. Art in the form of writing and literature. I've always been very in tune with that part of my life. So I had many things to think about, many paths that I could take.
So what were the hardships that came with your visions? Like whatever you had in mind and whatever you were pursuing at that time, what were the obstacles that came with that?
Okay, the difficulties in my mind, I think I was, you know how you say your own worst enemy. I think from youth, I've always been very critical to myself. And at some point, I went through moments where I had very low self-esteem and self-worth. Even though I had all these big dreams and big plans, I always doubted myself. Like, is this possible?
But being critical of yourself sometimes is not a bad thing. Because when you try to make yourself a better person, you already are a good person. So only a person with more you feel like you're underperforming your potential. So you demand more from yourself. That's how I look at it also.
When it's within reasonable measures. Because again, when your whole personality is being critical on yourself, then that does more harm than good.
Okay, so would you categorize yours as overly critical?
Yeah, I was overly critical for sure. And that is nothing. It's not something that I would advise. If you are going through the same thing, then you need to start the groundwork already. Because that is going to deter you from so many things.
Most people become overly critical of themselves and they end up not getting whatever they're supposed to do done. Is that what you're trying to say?
That is what I meant, because if everything you never see any good in your life, and you never, even your small milestones, you're not capable of celebrating them.
Your wins.
Your small wins. You always see what you don't have or what you can't achieve. So that becomes a problem.
So at what point did your mindset change? At what point did you start accepting that you have to make baby steps?
Yeah.
You have to grow, you have to do this in order to...
I think it wasn't one definitive moment. It has been a gradual, as is with most things in life.
Yeah.
It has been a gradual coming to awareness.
Yeah.
And it has been slow, and I think I'm still in that process even now.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
And that's exactly what we are trying to tell the person who's feeling like they are not moving forward.
Yeah.
What you've just touched on is exactly what we want to tell them. So I want you to tell us about this phase of difficulty and how you've pulled through up to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by that, are we referring to me being on a chair?
Not really.
Okay. Or just me going through the motions?
Yeah, the motions.
I think first is acknowledging that there is work that needs to be done. But then that brings another question, because most people think that acknowledging the problem equates solving.
Solution.
Yeah. So just because I know that I have an eating problem doesn't mean that my awareness of the issue is going to resolve it. So people need to know that there is acknowledging and then there is doing the work.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like I'm lecturing or like I'm an expert, but that is just lived experience.
Yeah, you're an expert in your own life.
Yeah, I'm an expert in my own life.
Yeah, so we need your expertise.
Yeah, my personal expertise.
Yeah, your personal, yeah.
So I would say that, you need to, number one, you need to acknowledge that the problem exists, and then you need to ask yourself, being that I know myself the best, how am I going to overcome this issue or this struggle that I'm facing? Do I feel like I'm well equipped to do it by myself, or do I need help, either from friends or professional help? So I think for me it has been a mixture of me trying to do the work myself and leaning on family and friends in small and simple ways. Again, you don't want to burden your problems on, or it is not the responsibility of the next man to carry your burden. You need to be very independent especially in your personal issues. Figure out how to deal with it first, and then the other people will come and supplement. But you don't lay your burden on other people entirely.
Yeah, because as you do that, you need to know that you can also be someone's support system. You, as much as you take, you need to also give back. You need to give back to your support system by supporting them back in any way in your capacity. So that is one thing I've also experienced in my life. So we can't say that you're not an expert at life, but there are some general issues that everyone faces, especially men. There are common problems that men face. There are common problems that women face. So by advising someone on one thing, you can actually expand their mind if they thought they had no solution. Yeah. So you seem to be a really motivated person, a self-driven person, and also a very easy person to be around. Where did all this come from?
I've not always been self-driven, nor have I always been motivated. I think that has come with age and with practice. There are times when I used to feel very tired, a lot of fatigue that I couldn't understand, that even when I try to do any task, I am not able to do it because I just feel like I'm too tired to do it. But over time I have made it a conscious, because we know when you always listen to your body and how it feels and yield to it, you probably never get anything done. You will not be here. Maybe we'll be somewhere lounging. We'll be somewhere lounging, just relaxing. So not listening to your creature comforts also helps to get things done. But in terms of where it has come from, this year I turned 30. And when I was approaching that age, I realized that I was getting older. Getting older is relative. A 50-year-old will say that I am young. And a 20-year-old will look at me. So with age, I realize that we are all given like a finite amount of time on this world, and just trying to make good use of it, and by following your passions and trying to reach your goals, however, in whatever capacity they are. So maybe my reflection that you are seeing, the reflection that you are seeing of me, maybe is a result of me coming to that realization, and realizing that time is not to be wasted.
And I think the realization of time is not to be wasted comes from a very very deep place. And some people might not know, and even how you ended up on the chair, which is actually something you should let them know. And let us get a picture of where that stemmed from, like your drive.
My drive. Okay, so as you can see, I'm a wheelchair user, and I am what you call a spinal cord injury survivor. I am if you are getting to the nitty-gritties, it's my level of injury is C5, C7, and that means that I don't have control or sensation anywhere below my armpits, and very limited use of my upper limbs, and zero use of my lower limbs. So I've been in this position for 10 years, and as a result of a road accident, that is how I injured my spine. It has been a difficult thing to overcome. I never want to simplify it, because people always want it to look like it's not easy, like it's easy, but it's so much. It's the complete opposite. I've been on this wheelchair. Is going to test you in all ways, spiritually, physically, mentally, in equal measure. And if you don't have the right support from the people around you, and the right and the mental fortitude to overcome these challenges, then your life is you're just simply going to exist. And I feel like most people on wheelchairs just exist.
I was the same.
Me too. I was like that at some point. You just go where the wind blows, and if you become like a ship stuck in an ocean where it depends on the wind to blow it to its destination. So if you become like that, then you won't find any pleasure or any fulfillment in life. So you just need to find your own motivation, and that will become the fuel that will drive you wherever it is that you want. Because something else that I've come to learn that is overused and might seem like a cliche, but you can really become whatever you want to become.
Actually, that's true.
Or even maybe not all of us are going to achieve our dreams, but at least the pursuit is up to you.
If you work towards it, you will definitely get rewards if you're consistent enough. Most people think that being exceptional is just being exceptional. You have to put in the time, the work, and the practice. That's how you become exceptional.
And I always tell, there's this poet that I listen to a lot, that I read about, not listen to. His name is Oscar Wilde. He is a poet from the 1800s. And he is very controversial because the way he sees the world is very different. You've just talked about consistency, but you've also mentioned practice and dedication. Oscar Wilde said, consistency is the last refuge for the unimaginative. Because doing the same thing over and over again is not a guarantee of success. You have to innovate.
Yeah,
You have to pivot. You have to do all these other things. You have to be creative.
Yeah.
So not just doing. Let's say because this is your channel. Let's say you keep doing the same video idea over and over again. It might be successful, but again, you might be going around the same circle. Yeah. So all these things are the key to success.
Yeah. And diversity. You've brought diversity into that as well.
Yeah.
That's so good. So how did you manage to pull yourself from that deep pit that your tragic accident put you in?
Yeah. So I've been in the pit a couple of times. I've been trying to, it's like have you ever seen those movies, survival movies, of a person, they fall into a ditch, they try to climb the first time, and they get so like halfway, and then they fall back again. So I would say that is how my story has been. I have tried multiple times to get out of the ditch, of the pit, and I've been successful, but again, after some time, I am met with life. I'm met by life, and then I go back in, and that is the way of life. I wouldn't have it any other way. As a creative person, as an artist myself in my own right, I know that the way to know. There's my favorite quote is from Van Gogh. Van Gogh, the artist. He said that the way to know life is to love many things, and to love many things is to love all things.
All things, yeah.
So you love the good and the bad. So I know I appreciate that my life and getting here is as a result of all my experiences that I've been able to learn from. So me being able to overcome has been really hard. Again, it has not been easy, but I have had so much support and a lot of self-reflection. And again, realizing that it is only I who can solve my issues. Not really solve them 100%, but I have to make the first step myself. I cannot delegate that to anybody else.
By the making the step is really a crucial part of the process, because only when you decide to do or to be helped or to want something, like the decision has to come from you first, before anyone else or everyone else can even see it in you. So and I can speak from my experience. When I saw you and we talked and you invited me, I kept telling you I'm coming, and then something comes up, and then we reschedule, and then something comes up, and then we reschedule. Then the day I decided, I just called you and told you, are you home this day? I'm coming. And that's how it happened. So until I made the decision to come to you, nothing would have happened, because after I came, I found out so much about myself. I didn't even know I was capable of doing all those things. And you showed me the light in that.
I think it was, if you think about it really deeply, you realize that the trip to Nakuru had very little to do with me. It had everything to do with you. Just you putting yourself out of the mindset that you were.
The comfort.
The comfort that you were at that moment.
The mindset.
You just needed to see something different, and I think that was enough to jumpstart you and to give you this new lease to life. So I think it would have been the same if you went to anyone else, but you just needed something. You just needed a push, and I feel like that is what you got in that trip.
That is one thing, but also to get there and find someone else in a similar situation as me. And then seeing the things we could do, the conversations we had, I realized there are so many similarities. There are so many ways we can work together. There are so many things you can help me. Actually, I've learned so many things from hanging out with you and Mark the past 2 days. For those of you who don't know Mark, I will have him on the channel as well. So Mark
Mark is an incredible guy.
Yeah, very funny guy.
Very similar to you.
Yeah.
Not to around the same. You've been on the chair around the same time.
Yeah.
And my greatest wish for you is that you are going to continue on your pursuit to freedom.
Yeah.
Not of course we cannot be 100% independent.
Yeah.
But I know it's possible. Because I've seen Mark, I have seen his journey, I know my journey, and I've seen you and I've seen your motivation and your support. I really hope that soon and very soon you're going to be in a place where you can do things by yourself, more things by yourself. But also remember, it's good to be motivated, but comparison is the thief of joy. So as you try to reach for the stars, also realize that we all have our own journeys. And it might take longer or even shorter for you to do certain things.
Okay, you've mentioned comparison is the thief of joy. I want you to hold on to that thought, and we go back to freedom. You mentioned that while you were growing up, you really wanted freedom to do your own, like just basically freedom. And then just when you attained the freedom you thought you had, you were brought back to dependency. How was that? What did that do to your mind?
I think we had this conversation a few days ago, and I was telling you it has always been very difficult for me to ask for help. Because in my mind I see myself as a very free person, and to do a free person usually doesn't rely on other people. They are very individualistic in the way that they do their things. So I have always seen myself in that light, as a person who can get things done for himself and by himself. So now being forced into this situation where I have to depend on someone to do the most basic things for me as a caregiver. There was a point that it didn't matter who it was and how much love I was being shown. I was still not ready to receive that kind of assistance. And it has taken me a long time to figure out that I am being very selfish, because when someone has dedicated their heart and soul to help you and assist you, and now you are trying to become difficult and gloomy all the time, I think that is unwarranted. And it's unfair to the caregiver. You need to be as conducive, and so to say, to be around.
Because
joy inakuwa affect.
No, these guys also, the best way to put it for someone watching is, picture yourself having your normal routine, your daily life. Then all of a sudden you have to make time for a person full time, and you still have to do your things, and the person is becoming difficult. As much as you have love for them, that might kill the motivation that it has in you.
Would you say that are you an easy person to give care, or are you difficult based on your own understanding?
My own understanding
of yourself.
I try to be as conducive as possible to my caregivers. We are more of a family than having them as service providers. So that relationship also creates a bigger bond than just the working relationship. So you find that if someone is committed to doing what they're supposed to do in the first place, and they have an extra motivation to do it, everything becomes a bit easier on both ends.
You've been in this position for 4 years now.
Heading to 5.
Heading 5 years. If you met a newly injured person, and you had like one piece of advice to give them as it regards to caregiving, receiving care, what would you tell them?
Just be as cooperative as possible. Yeah, because these people know things that you don't. You are new to this experience, and they've dealt with these experiences many times. So please just listen to them. Yeah. When you make the lives of your caregivers easy, everything becomes easy as well. Yeah, and earlier you had spoken about when I told you to hold on to the thought of a comparison being the thief of joy. Okay, from your experience, what made you say that?
Because it's a fine line between looking at someone and looking for motivation, and it being, oh, this person is able to do this and I'm not able to do that. So it's a fine line between wanting to being motivated to do what they are doing and beating yourself down because you're not where they are. So I think you need to, as a person and individually, you really need to assess your abilities at that point, and realize that everybody's journey is going to be different. And I'm very careful not to compare myself that critically. Like, for instance, we were talking about Mark, and there's a friend of mine who is called Kesho. I would always see their videos and they were working out at the gym. At first, it was me comparing myself. And what ended up happening was I ended up making up things in my mind and saying that it was too late for me to go back to the gym because it was already 10 years later. So that was me stealing joy from myself. But now, after self-reflection, it became motivation. I saw, my peers are doing it. Then what would make me not give it a chance at least? So I motivated myself and I made that decision to go back to physio, and then I transitioned to going to the gym. And it has been fulfilling. I've not gone to the gym in a while, but it has been fulfilling to go and be able, for someone who who society says is a weakling and I'm not able to do anything, being able to lift lifts and to achieve milestones has been very rewarding.
Yeah, and that is a very important point you've brought, because in today's life, most people steal joy from themselves from comparisons on social media. I've seen that happen a lot. Like, you'd probably see someone, you are in the same, let's say, same settings, same everything. You are probably better than them at something, but they end up becoming successful or showing an image of success, actually, which most people do, and you fall for it and you start not appreciating what you have or whatever you're doing at that particular time. Would you say those are two identical situations, and what would you give advice to, like, a young person who's going through that at the moment?
First you need to know that the society we live in, most things are not always as they seem. Perception oftentimes is a mirage. You might see someone living a good life, a successful life, a happy life, but we all know that we have all been on social media long enough to know that it's all about the optics, and we may take 5 pictures, but we are going to choose the best looking one. But we took 4 more that didn't have the right angles and everything.
And it was the same setting.
It was the same setting. So please just try your best to know that this life is yours. That from the start, this life is yours, and it is for you to do with it as best as you can. And by doing that, you are going to discover that it is your own race. And if you can be individualistic in that regard, it is going to save you a lot of hassles. Because if you keep on chasing with the trend, but I guess with youth, it is going to be inevitable, but you can get ahead of it, because as a young person you don't know better. So you want to be like your friends. You want to have the newest, shiniest thing. But if you are listening to this and you are in a journey of self-reflection, then you need to realize that it's your race and it's your life. So just live it as best as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that way, you'll vanquish all the problems that lie in front of you.
Yes.
So, speaking of Vanquish, that is actually the name of this segment, whereby we tell people that you can actually overcome all those obstacles you think are too big for you. By then, sharing is really good, because sometimes you might think you're being faced by the biggest obstacle, and your biggest obstacle could be the smallest obstacle to someone else. So when you learn to open up, okay, I'm not a person who opens up myself, but I'm teaching myself to do that. Because you find sometimes you deal with things when the solutions lie around you. And that is why I want us to tell our stories just like you've done, to empower these people and tell them that it is all possible. It all depends on your mind. It all depends on your mindset.
True.
Yeah.
And we were having again this conversation when we were talking about how routines can, for lack of a better word, can cripple you. Or you can be a slave to your routine. But at the same time, oftentimes people are stuck to their ways. People might say, like me, like they would say me, I am not a person who opens up, so I'm never going to share anything with anyone. But that is you just boxing yourself up and setting up yourself for failure, because we are social beings and we were created to have interactions. Well, granted, those interactions may look different from different people, for different people, but what I meant to say is that you should always be open to change. And in this case, good change. You should always, if you see an area that in your life that is wanting, an area in your life that needs adjustment, don't be the kind of person that says, this is how I am, or this is how I was raised. Don't use your trauma or past as a crutch to get yourself to just become a person who is stuck in their ways. So change is like right now you're experiencing a change as we speak, and all of us are seeing it. So
my name actually equates to change.
Oh man, your name. Is there like when you picked that name as your DJ name?
I never picked the name. The name was given to me by someone named Brian Muchiri. I used to play at a place called Changes. I was very green.
Oh, the famous Changes.
So my name was DJ Katski before.
DJ Katski.
Cutskills.
Why? What was the genesis of that name?
So let me give you a story, and this one has to be given in Swa. Unakumbuka kitambo, I don't know if in Nakuru they had matatus that had Catskill written at the back.
Catskill?
Catskil.
No.
So that is where those mwenye alikuwa namekiza matatu, alikuwa ule mse mnoma wa kwanza, like all the nganyas zilikuwa zinatoka kwake. So I used to really envy that. And when I realized that when you play music and you scratch, it's actually called cutting. And I had some skills. So I decided to say my name is DJ Katski. And I was contented with it. But one day we were just from another event. Then Mahinda, he was in his own level. He was like, no, from today on, you evolve. And we poured some beer on the ground. And we had a laugh about it.
You are baptized.
Then they started calling me that. And I was like, why not? Why shouldn't I evolve?
From Katski and now to evolve. And And that is just a testament, because maybe Katsuki was a childhood idea.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because you, as a child, you always want the shiny thing.
Yeah.
And you want to be the loudest, you want to be the most good looking. But now you need to evolve from that.
Yeah.
It's all about the skill, and it's all about being of service. You keep on mentioning that.
You know why I keep on mentioning being of service to others? Because I've entirely relied off service from other people during this entire time.
Yeah.
And I just want to give that back to my ability.
What gifts do you think you possess right now, seated in that chair, that you would best, that what gifts do you think you possess right now that you would want to share with other people?
First of all, like my DJing skills, I still have them, but I'm not yet able to put them in practice, but I still have them. So I'm partnering with my videographer. His name is Arif Photography. When he shoots my videos, we edit together. I try and input my musical ideas and guide him on how to execute them. It's not perfect right now, but the more he gets acquainted with it, the better the sound mixing will appear, and I can now be able to guide him and do mixes with him.
But I also think that even your spirit and your aura and your essence, I think just giving yourself to the people, lending your voice and your thoughts, I think it's bound to be very healing for a lot of people.
I hope so.
Yeah,
because that is what I'm trying to achieve at the end of the day. I want to bring that person who is almost into despair right now to come out of it, because if I was able to do it, then you too can do it.
I think you are the poster boy. You are going to be the poster boy of something that was meant to kick you down, to put you down. Can also be a platform for you to experience and to evolve.
You know, someone told me something. You know, nowadays I really have very old friends. I hang out with elderly people a lot. And one told me that when a seed is buried in the ground, it thinks that's the end of its life. When in real sense, that's the beginning of its life. So I took that and I used it to motivate myself. So that's what I'm trying to put out to you as well. If I can do it, if I can keep going, you can be also resilient enough, and you can come out of whatever you're doing. I'm not supposed to be the interviewee here, so why are you making me give my parting shots when we should be having yours?
No, I think you know, when you told me we are going to be having a conversation. But it's good, you know. I might pose something to you, and it might be what this interview was meant to be.
Of course, that's why I'm open to it. I'm asking you for me to give my parting shot, and it's not my interview.
Oh, okay. You're already giving your parting shot.
That is how it appeared to me.
Okay. So now it's my turn.
Not the parting shot. The question you asked me. Set it up to be like a parting shot.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
So for you, you tell us.
I answer the same question.
You can tell us about the same question.
Oh, the question that I posed to you.
To me,
I've always said something that sounds controversial, but everything I do has always been for selfish gain. For instance, I realized that, when it started with me lending my gifts to people, it was coming from a selfish point of view, because I was writing to overcome my depression, because being able to share my thoughts and feelings and putting it out in the world and giving that energy out there, it was healing for me. So I was doing it first for me, and then next for anyone else who wanted to get something from that. Same with what I'm doing with my YouTube work. First, it's because I really enjoy doing it. I'm doing it for me first because I enjoy the process. I enjoy the editing work, putting together a story, and just something nice that people can watch and enjoy. So I don't know, but I feel like it's the same thing. For me, the gifts that I have are myself and my story, and that is all that I have. And that is the most that I can share. I've never had any qualms about speaking about my struggles and my experiences, because I think people are too caught up in themselves. And I don't think anybody cares that much about what you've been through.
No, people actually do.
Yeah?
People actually
No, I mean people are hesitant to share because they say, oh, people are going to think this way about me. People are busy. People are so busy out here. So me, I don't fear to be judged or even to be misunderstood, because that is the whole point of life, that you're going to have all this. Life is like a well-cooked githeri plate. You know, githeri is so colorful, especially when you put some avocado there. So it has so many colors, and you need to accept it with all the taste and all the colors that it comes with. Being misunderstood, being loved, being hated. Though hate is a strong word. Do you think you hate anyone? Do you hate anyone? Is there someone in your life that you hate?
I don't think so.
Hate is such a big word.
It's a big word. You might dislike someone, but hate is such a strong
word. That's why it was controversial when that guy, the massage guy, said that he hates kids.
Oh.
You remember that conversation?
No, I didn't see that.
No, it was mainly on TikTok. He's massaged by Steve.
Actually, I'm very green on TikTok. I just joined the other day.
So it's a guy. He said that he wants to be childless. He doesn't have any desires of having children. But the wording he used was he hates kids. And I felt like that is such a strong word. I don't think anyone, unless it's something really terrible that someone has done.
But come to think of it, he used such a strong word for a baby. What has the baby done to warrant hate?
And
it's actually for you, when you have a baby, it's your creation.
It's your creation.
God and you.
Yeah, but it's like my dad always says, like it's the same with caregiving. Caregiving is not meant for everyone. There's someone you might ask them for care, and you'll see that it's going to weigh heavily on them, and they're not going to be able to be at peace offering you care. I think it's the same with parenting or having a child. It's not for everyone. And I think with the age that we are in right now, people are brave enough to admit that children, that is not for me. But again, you can have a preference, but again, saying hate.
Hate is a bit on the over the edge.
Over the edge, too extra.
So Brian, I've really had an awesome time spending the long weekend with you. Today is Monday. You're about to leave. It's goodbyes are the saddest, because right now when you leave, you can imagine what it's going to be like for me again.
Oh man!
I now have like someone we share everything in common. You understand everything I talk about. I understand everything you talk about, and then now it's like, you see, when you were siblings, and then maybe your mom takes your one sibling home and leaves you alone.
Yeah.
It will be that kind of feeling. But it's a very good thing that you introduced me to other guys in the community. If we have other guys who are willing to come, they can reach out to us as well. And we can grow this community and support each other from time to time.
And if I may say, I think I have had, we have, my girlfriend and I, because we visited you with my girlfriend, we have felt so welcomed. We have felt very accommodated for. And it has been such a wonderful and amazing experience for us. The food, especially the food, was delicious. The food has been delicious, and the company has been superb. So thank you for that.
I appreciate you honoring the invite, and I hope we can do more and more.
For sure.
You talked about you really wanted to travel. Why can't we just do it? I've also not traveled a lot in this situation, so I would like to try new experiences. And if we are together, maybe we can help each other get through it. So maybe we can keep something on the works.
Like, you know, I'm all for trying new things. As you know, I come in here, I traveling with the public means. And during our time here, we have been doing trips together. It has been a hassle for our caregivers, but we have pulled through. So I think it's possible. It's surely, with a little bit of support and an open mind, it's doable.
We'll definitely let's just start and see where it goes. When we get the support, we will get bigger and explore more. But the time will come.
I agree.
I'm always a really huge appreciator of humble beginnings, because I know what they can do to you if you use them correctly. They can bring you to a good place. But if you use them as a disadvantage, if you see yourself as a victim, you will stay like that. So just try and pull yourself out of whatever you think it is. Might be holding you down.
True.
And right now, whatever is holding us down is our situation and circumstances. We're overcoming our situations. So we only need to go, and the finances, we will go as we get it.
True.
So we'll just do what we do with what we have and see where it goes. That has reminded me something. You remember when you're telling me that someone says, if today I had this, I would do this. And then you get that, and then you change the goalpost and say, I only need this to get this done. Then you get that one and you move the goalpost again. So let's not do that. Let's just start. Even if we'll start going to a shamba somewhere, let's go and visit a farm.
Let us keep that motion. Always in motion. That is the most important thing.
Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate you coming. It has been Brian Muchiri with us, Mr. Chairman aka Jacob, the original one. I am just the assistant chairman. But I'm the chairman in entertainment. So I will entertain you with the more interesting stories as we proceed. Thank you for watching. Please like and
comment, subscribe.
Thank you so much.